Hey everybody, it's Jeff. Today we're going to be working with some chords. I ran into a post online. It's kind of a variation of Tony's chords on Reddit. These cats putting together some sweet chords to where each one of these MIDI clips has a chord in it, and then you just fire all those clips, and that's cool. That's kind of a variation on Tony's chords, which you can find if you just Google Tony's chords, but he's got the same thing. He's got a bunch of scales and all sorts of stuff, and then each chord within the key. Yeah, exciting stuff. But all these clips I don't think you need the same thing duplicated for every key, so I've got kind of a variation that I put together. And if you see here, instead of having all the different keys, what I would rather have and find a lot more useful is all the different inversions and variations of the chord within the key. And then if you want a different key, and so these chords are represented by the number. So this is the first chord in the key, the second chord, three chords. So if you're familiar with the Roman numeral system, that will be in handy. This is not the 7 chord, this is actually the 5 chord inverted to kind of give you the implication of the 7 chord. Yeah, nobody really uses the 7 chord. Well, whatever. Anyway, and this is the 1 chord an octave higher. So if you want the different keys, you just use this what key rack, and you change keys here, and you can see the bass. It tells us we're in the key of E, and you can also see that it's transposing as we go. So this note right here is now, that's an F sharp major chord. And so as long as you put that there and you look at the bass, all of these clips will be transposed into whatever key you want. And then I've got an easy octave up, another octave up, and then octave down, another octave down, and then we can switch between major and minor. Now this just uses a scale plug down here, and so as it's transposing some of the chords, not all of those chords will be spelled exactly correct. I'm not sure, but you know, they're all going to be within the key, so do with that what you will, but it's just a quick and dirty way of making all this junk go minor. Anyway, the other way that I prefer to think about minor keys in this context is just starting on the 6. So even though this is spelled out for C major, if I start on the A minor, it's really A minor. So that's the relative minor of C. So if I wanted something like D minor, I would transpose all this junk to F. And then this would now be the D minor. Yeah, so if you know music theory, that's how you get there. If not, what I would do is just pick this what you want and then switch this to minor, and then that's how that works. Alright, so all of these chords, what is going on here? Well, if you have a Launchpad or an APC40, which I do not, this probably is a lot more fun with that, and then you can just drag these different channels around and put them where you want them, so like the ones will be nearby, and create these interesting combination of chords. But what I've been doing is key mapping them on my keyboard, and I use the shift key to not mess up my other mappings, but I already did. So okay, so I'm going, this is my 1 chord, so I'm actually using the button number 1, 2, 3, so that way when I look down I know what chord in the key I'm doing. And then the next row of my keyboard, this is the chordy, is going to be my inversions. And we just follow that idea down. Cool. So those were just 2 chords, but it sounded like a lot more was happening because, you know, I'm inverting things. So if we, you know, do like a 1, 1, 4, 5, 4, it's a wild thing. Okay, that's going to sound a lot more interesting when you invert some of them. And so you see this row lighting up, And when I invert something, you'll see a different row lighting up. Cool. So yeah, that's inverting stuff to me makes a lot more sense. And then when we start to work in the other chords, we can create more unique textures than just having all the chords in the key kind of at our service, if that makes any sense. Which this is still cool. But yeah, I find this to be a little bit more practical for creating stuff. Okay, so now let's, well, for what it's worth, the way this is set up, each one of these clips is just firing one MIDI note. And then I've got a chord plugin, which is spelling all of the chords for me. And then this MIDI channel takes all of these channels together. And so what you do is you route that MIDI channel to your instrument. So this is my simpler, and I'm going to get my MIDI from the MIDI out channel. Boom. And that way it's still going to generate all the MIDI data for you. I just didn't have to go and spell those chords by hand. And then same with all the inversions. This kind of took a while. Alright, so let's continue. Well, okay, sorry. A couple more things as far as how this is set up, if that's interesting to you. They're just one button, it loops. All of these are set to gate mode, which means, well, let's play. That's the wrong clip. So you can see it playing, and it'll loop. And if you want to get a clip to loop indefinitely like this, you have to have the loop point after the start point and before the end point, so it never gets a note off message. And it'll just keep looping on and on, but when I lift off the keyboard, so it plays essentially like a piano or something like that. And if you want, you can, you know, quantize this stuff because it's set to global quantization, or if you just select all the clips, you can give it its own quantization value. I preferred it on none, and then I can just go and quantize the MIDI later, because when I've been playing this with any other value, it doesn't seem to play as well. Anyway, so you can mess with that as you want. Right now it's set to global, and I'm just putting that on none. Okay, that's it as far as the setup. Let's get this out of here. Let's get this out of here. Make this look nice and delicious. Alright, we've got 2 rows in here, and now we're going to do the next row for delicious sounds. And then maybe we'll do, yeah, this one's right, well, come on, we want to do something crazy, so let's do 9th chords. Yeah, so if you don't know what these chords are, it doesn't really matter because they're all going to be within the key of your song. Okay, so now because minor stuff sounds cooler, I'm going to go to the 6th chord. And you see the drums start with me. This little drum clip is included. Those are the 9th chords. So you can see just how this set would work, I guess. And you can just drag this channel in. So if you navigate to the set, current project, actually no, you have to drag in all the channels because it doesn't do. So lame. So you can actually just drag this set in, and it would create all those MIDI clips and stuff like that for you. Cool. Let me know if you got any questions on that. One more thing I tossed in here was the melody generator. All you gotta do is fire one of these clips. See, once you open this up, you can see the melody generator. is clips with follow actions, and then this channel here will catch the MIDI. So I'm going to record and enable that, and turn this off. Cool, and that just created us a little MIDI clip. We can stop those, and then if you want, we can just drag that on there. Alright, we have to change this to that. And now you could push those notes around, but sometimes you don't want to actually write music, you just want to have it generated for you. So now let's do this, and maybe throw some reverb on there. Now let's do ping pong. Oh, of course. Maybe you can go up another octave here. And now we can just have that going while we create our dope sick melody. So the thing with mapping the top row is if you've got something selected, it's going to think you're trying to input numbers when I actually wanted to play this note. Gotta put it back to none. Okay, so now we're going to record, and we're going to record this into our arrangement view. And this clip is going to start, and this clip is going to start as soon as I hit my first note, and we should still be quantized because it's the first note. So here we go. With the 9 chords. Boom. And now we got all of our clips going on here, and if you need to record all of that into one clip, the way you would do it is jump in here, and if I had any sense I would have put that on during, but that creates a clip with all these clips here. And these are all just, because those are all the single notes. Or you could even do it on this simpler track. Alright, let's find out. Yep. Cool. That's not bad. Thanks for sticking around. Check you guys later.